Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
I'm looking forward to all of the Christmas party invitations we'll be getting now.
Yeah.
They'll say, I want Patrick and Tori.
Fan mail. I believe that's what they call it, fan mail.
Come in and make an appearance. What is that the golfers get? It's an appearance fee.
Appearance fee, yeah.
Just show up, and then they'll pay us to leave.
Just show up with the promise of a free keg.
Yeah. That's what we need to do. We need to show up, and then they'll pay us to leave.
Yeah.
That's how we'll make the money.
There you go.
That would be like a departure fee.
Departure fee. It's free to come, but departure fee is...
Please leave.
Yeah.
We'll pay you to go. Your jokes just aren't making it. They don't make it on the air, and they're not making it in person. Anyway, getting started here. All right. What I want to do is start out this segment of the show real quick. We're just going to do a little story here. Let's say you and I decide we want to start a company to make bicycles. We sit down and decide each of us is going to put in, well, let's say $1,000 to get started. We're also going to hire some people to run it and give them, the authority that they can write checks out of our account and make contracts with other companies for the parts that we need to build these bicycles, all that stuff. Now, these managers we hire will also have the authority to interview and hire people to build the bikes and salespeople to go out and sell them to the stores. So we have this nice company up and running now. We keep tabs on it a little bit and watch it grow. But then something interesting starts happening. The managers we hired start hiring all their friends and spending money on lavish office parties and trips to Florida to see the beach and trips to Colorado for skiing. Yay, they start taking out loans from banks to finance all of this. When we ask them the question, how can we afford all of this, they tell us, we aren't selling a lot of bicycles right now, but we are expecting to sell a ton in the next year or so, and the money will really start rolling in then. In the meantime, they continue spending more of our money, taking out more loans in our name, loans we are responsible for repaying, and before you know it, the banks have decided, well, they're just not going to loan us any more money. And we aren't selling any bicycles because our salespeople have been out on trips and partying. Now, we're out of money. We are out of inventory. We have nothing. And our managers come to us and say, hey, we need more money. If we will only give them more money, they can get things turned around. So you and I get together and decide, okay, well, we'll give them a little more money, but we're going to fire these bad managers. So we fire them and hire replacement managers to run our bicycle company. The only problem is, when they get on the job, they look around and see how much more fun the previous managers had spending money, going on trips, and our new managers decide, hey, why should I try to turn this company around? That's too much work. And this company is headed down the tubes anyway. The owners aren't really paying attention to what is going on. Just look at what the previous employees were doing, what they got away with. Sure, they got fired, but the companies selling us all this stuff, they all hired the people the owners fired. So if we buy enough stuff from these same companies, they'll hire us too if we get fired. So let's spend all we can get away with until we get kicked out. The question is, would you tolerate this type of activity in a company you own? You do in this company called the United States government. You allow it to happen every day. And your representatives, your employees, well, they're laughing in your face, not even behind your back. Laughing in your face and practically daring you to do something about it. They waste money. They trample your rights. They take money out of your paycheck before you even get it. All of this, and yet you sit out there watching whatever brain-draining show is on television and not doing a dang thing about it.
Finding Bigfoot.
Exactly. Tori's watching Finding Bigfoot. All of this because your employees in government know. They know you aren't going to muster enough people together to stop it, to vote these people out of office. And even if you do, they'll corrupt the new ones you send up there. Unless you are dang sure the new employees you send up there have the principles and the backbone to do the right thing in the face of all this pressure to join in on the party. So you sit out there and take all of this. Because as long as we're all getting screwed together, then it's okay, right? But the minute someone starts saying this is wrong or finding a way to work around the system, then they are the enemy. They are the ones doing something wrong, not the government. For a good example, look at people who find ways to get around having to pay so much income tax. The government has the population of this country convinced those people are the ones ripping us off. Those people are to blame for the government not having enough money. It isn't the fact the government is way overspending, that too many people in this country are on the government dole, getting so-called free money, getting the Obama bucks. That's why this argument is so effective for the government. Because by people finding ways around the tax code, finding loopholes, they are costing the government money, and thus also costing the people getting free money from the government. Therefore, now these tax loophole people are the enemy, not the overbloated, bureaucratic, and unconstitutional government. It goes back to my statement on a previous show. How much is it going to take before you sell out your principles? $300 a week? $500 a week? How much is it? Because the government will be glad to cut you a check each week for your trouble, for selling out your principles and your fellow citizens. Why is it, do you think the government works so hard to divide us as a nation? To tell us that we aren't all American people, that we are a diverse mix of cultures with no real, quote, American culture, unquote, to be proud of. It is so much easier to convince you that another citizen, another class of people, another ethnic group, that's to blame for your troubles. And the government, the real problem, that's who we should really be blaming. For example from history, and I use this quite a bit, just look how effectively it worked for Hitler when he blamed Germany's troubles on the Jews. The propaganda of shearing off the Jewish population from the rest of Germany worked so well. German citizens sat back and watched knowingly, and some, let's be honest, approvingly, as boxcar after boxcar of their fellow German citizens were shipped off to concentration camps. Let's get back to when the Soviet Union was running strong. We celebrated people who fought back against that regime, who found ways around the government bureaucracy, who worked to defeat the overstepping and trampling on the Russian citizens' personal freedom and liberty. But when the same thing occurs in this country, at the very least, we call them tax cheats. At the very worst, the government designates them terrorists and either ends up killing them or imprisoning them without access to a lawyer or even being told their charges in a formal hearing, never given a chance to answer for their supposed crimes to try and prove their innocence. All right, we're up on the last break here. I hope I'm really getting this point home to everyone out there, what the real problem in this country is, and it's the government. I'm not saying we need to overthrow the government. I'm saying we need to work and turn it around. Anyway, this is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. We'll be back after these messages with the last segment. Don't go away.
Never was a cornflake girl.